Hello and welcome to Captain of Industry. Let's talk a little bit about the standard opening you're gonna wanna do on each map. Well, by the looks of it, of course, you do get quite a few trucks that you're gonna use for logistics. You do have this very nice and juicy tree harvester that's gonna give you those logs you're gonna definitely use to make some coal, and of course the ship that needs to be repaired with the shipyard as well. On the other side, you're gonna notice you do have two things over here. First of all, the abandoned communication station that you can actually start recycling, and let's actually click this button. Remember, you kind of need to use all of the materials, or you're going to need to put them in somewhere to store them, so you can actually get some of them used, and also clear this space. This building does not clear before all of these materials are going to be taken away. We also have the initial housing. You're going to have two of these settlement buildings that I gotta say you're going to probably want to expand this a little bit to the left, to the right, to the north, to the south, somewhere over there. So you do get more people working for you, and of course make them happy. Well, usually what you want to do is actually take a look at the resources. You can click the layers over here, and you're going to see what you have and where you have. So for example, in this case, you do have a lot of water right near your settlement, which we'll probably going to tap into a little bit later in the game. Now this is iron. As you can see, the iron over here is in a mountain. Let's actually turn this off so you can see it. There we go. It's basically mountainside. You're gonna get to actually build those smelters probably next to, because you do want the iron to be as close as possible to your production centers. The logistics involved in bringing the iron ore to the smelter so you can convert it into something else does take quite a bit out of your trucks, so you gotta be a little bit careful with that. So let's actually take a look at what you need to acquire. If you open up the tutorials, you're gonna see you do need to get the coal maker, because you're going to need some coal going with assigning the trucks, start harvesting the trees, and then build a blast furnace and connect it to a metal caster so you can start producing metal, and of course connect it to a smoke stack, so you put that smoke in the air and not allow it to just build up over there. Now ideally, again, because of the distance that you're going to need to carry those materials, you do want the coal maker to be relatively close to where you need the coal, and of course also later on you're probably going to want to transport it via belts to the place that you're going to need it, so you don't use the trucks anymore. So let's actually take on pause, and let's see what we have to do first. Let's actually put this tree harvester to work. We're going to assign it to one of the trucks. Ideally you want two trucks assigned to each of these tree harvesters, but I guess the beginning you don't have that many trucks, so it's better to actually just go for one. H, or you can click the button over, you can click H, or you can click the button over here in the bottom side of the layout. You have tree harvesting designation. If you press H, you're gonna get a tool that actually allows you to just click and drag and where you want to actually start clearing the trees. Now I would suggest you start clearing the trees where you want to actually build. So for example, not this way, but for example, because we did think that we're gonna want to build over here, let's actually clear the trees that are more closer to the side that we're gonna get some metal casters going, some storage space, etc, etc. Okay, so let's actually click this. It will just automatically, as you can see, start moving around, and it will join the trees over there to cut them down. You can just click away, right click away, and it will deselect. The truck will automatically go and get the logs from the tree harvester and put them where you need to, so you don't need to worry about that. It does say you actually need to assign two trucks. Well, I guess we're gonna just assign two trucks for the first one, and then deassign it because we finished that one. Now okay, so coal maker. Whenever you're going to put up building, you can actually see how the land is shaped. This is quite important because some of the buildings, if you take a look over here, you're going to end up with a bit of a problem. You might not get to connect them later on with the belts, because the land is a little bit off, and it causes weird angles to connect everything. So since I'm going to want it relatively close to this, let's actually put it over here, where of course you can see already we do have the trees getting cut down and of course put into those trucks, and we're just gonna let it build. You can use to speed up your delivery of materials for the coal maker to start getting built, you can use the Unity. The Unity is on the top left part. It's only 8.94 at the moment, and you do build 1.97 per month. It will take quite a while to actually use everything, so I would suggest not using it at the beginning. Just try to maybe increase the timer, or I should say make it speed up, so you get everything done a little bit faster. Now that we set the coal maker, we're gonna need also the blast furnace and everything else. Blast furnace is relatively easy to do, but you do have to take into account how many you're gonna build. This is one lesson that you're probably gonna learn playing multiple times and trying out different areas. Later on in the game, you're probably going to want to put some storage space so you can feed these directly, and the trucks, instead of filling the metal casters or the blast furnaces, they will feed those storage spaces. And it's going to be much easier like that. You can build up a little bit of cash so you do get time to adjust to the problems that you get into. So for example, if you run out of iron over here and you're going to need to switch to another iron deposit, which I believe it's over here, it's a very big one, you might want to set up automatic trade routes with belts instead of getting them over here. So having a buffer like a storage space would be quite useful to use. So in this particular scenario, let's actually go for let's see, one over here. Let's build the first one, and we're going to need to see afterwards. This one actually makes 24 molten iron out of iron scrap and coal. We are already making coal. The iron scrap we're getting from that scavenging of the building, and of course the molten iron we're actually going to need to get converted somewhere. I would suggest using at least 3 tiles, like giving the spacing of 3 tiles, so you can actually use this for belts that are going to go a little bit later on. You can connect the stacks if you want to convert that exhaust to something else. And remember, each of these will at some point actually produce a slag, which you can convert into other materials, or you can actually just use it to increase your island terrain. So you have to take in all of that into account. So usually it's easier to build them in a line. So for example, I build this one over here and another one over here. I guess it doesn't really matter in what direction you're gonna build them towards, because, well, at the end of the game, you're just gonna get the roots going to the west, or I should say to the outside, further on the line anyway. So we can connect this here, and then connect it here. We can build another connection for the other one. It will automatically feed the 24, split it into 2. So you get to feed both of these metal casters, which use 12 iron a piece, and 12 molten iron a piece. That will convert it into actually iron afterwards. Now, you can't at the beginning actually use belts for the iron, but you do need to plan for them accordingly. So later on in the game, you're probably going to want to have belts coming on this side, on the left side of this, and then going down and then connecting to the other ones, and then connecting to a storage space from where you actually get the materials outside, maybe using trucks, maybe using other belts, and provide them to the buildings that will use that iron later on. You should also build, of course, the stack over here, which is at the waste management. Let me see. Okay, there we go. We get to press R to switch the building side, so you can see direction. Actually, you can see you need to line up those arrows, so the stack is actually gonna allow the smoke to get out of the building, and of course put it in the air way above everything else. Well, it looks like it already started producing some molten iron. We're just gonna leave it build. The pickups will bring the materials needed for the molten channels, and also of course we'll try to get the iron out of these metal casters after they're gonna be finished. Now this is I guess okay. Oh, I just need to build a smokestack, and we're gonna go afterwards. The producing of iron will start, and we're gonna have 16 quite early. This of course being the first one, the first level, it's relatively easy to go. What I would suggest after this is actually pre-building some other ones. So if you actually press I would say C, for example, you press C, you get to copy everything with a shift. If you hold shift down, you get to copy what you built here, and then as you can see, it just allows you to move the buildings or copy exactly what you built over there, the setup, to another place. You can see also the metal caster actually has a slag output at the top of this building over there. Later on in the game, you're going to want to get all of that slag out of the buildings and send it somewhere so you can accumulate it and convert it into something else, so you can make use of it. So you got to prepare for this, and you got to be careful exactly how much space you're going to give and how you want to get that belt going. Everything needs to be a little bit in the future. Yes, I know. You need to plan and plan and plan. So let's actually set this over here. It's 2 range, set another one over here, set another one over here, and set another one over here. You can just turn them off like this, so no more construction is going to be allowed on these buildings. With you got to be careful, by the way. I did multiple times. I actually missed this because instead of pausing the build, I was pausing the building itself, so it already built it, but it was without how to say without any work on it, and it used the materials, and I was a little bit upset about this because I didn't want to spend those materials. Okay, so let's actually finish all of this. I believe I did see somewhere that you might actually do this a little bit faster, but anyway, I think with the planning, if you use the planner, but anyway, we collect the stuff that we took out, and of course you can actually see the difference in colors. Whenever you're going to allow the building of a building, it's going to be blue, and when you don't allow it to be built, it's and just planned, it's white. This will be your iron for the future. I don't think you actually need more than 5. Later on, you're going to discover technologies that allow you, for example, to use level 2 blast furnaces with level 2 metal casters, which are going to bring you more and more materials, going to convert them a little bit faster. Okay, so that's about it for the first one. I hope we're gonna see each other in the next tutorials. I'm gonna go with each of these episodes one by one, and let's actually see what we can get out as the game progresses. And of course, as Captain of Industry, actually very good development. Thank you so much, everybody. If you did like this and you do find it useful, throw it a thumbs up, and I hope we're gonna see each other in the next series. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get the notifications, and well, if you do want to actually take a look at some Civilization 6 games, you can find me on twitch.tv/OnSpotTV. See you later, or see you then. Bye bye bye.